This week's episode is sponsored by the Brilliant Futures Institute. That is coaching. That is finding out where someone is, the truth of where they are, and then helping them get to where they want to go from your perspective, from your proficiency. Coddling is when someone says, I'm stuck, and you just accept it. You start picking up the load for them. You carry them on your back to try to get them to their finish line. Welcome to the Preeminence Podcast.
You cannot be a courageous leader if you're not vulnerable.
Your legacy is every life you've touched.
The only thing that changes our life long term is when we raise our standards.
Now is the time to take risk.
The way it's always been done isn't necessarily the way it should be done.
What is your dream? What do you think 2050, 2100 is going to look like?
The most incredible sort of mystery, I think, is now the question of what comes next.
Stay hungry, stay foolish.
Welcome to the Preeminence Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew J. Peters. Visit preeminence.tv to learn more about how to create a preeminent presence for your business, organization, or personal brand. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or just ask Alexa to play the Preeminence Podcast. Hey, my friends, this is Matthew, and today I want to talk to you about something super important. If you are a coach, a mentor, a trainer, or even a parent, are you coaching or are you coddling? What's the difference? Coaching is when you're giving someone direction. You're asking them questions to define where they're at and what their thinking process is so you completely understand the situation. You completely understand where they are in their health or in their relationship or in their finances or in their business and their marketing. You get a really clear idea. And when you do that, you're actually getting them super clear on where they are too. Just asking them the questions are going to help them get to that point where they have clarity on the real data of what's going on in their life, and you do too. So you're always giving advice, you're always giving teaching, training from a point of understanding. From there, you can give them feedback and asking them questions depending on where they're telling you they want to go. That is coaching. That is finding out where someone is, the truth of where they are, and then helping them get to where they want to go from your perspective, from your proficiency. From everything that you've done in your life, everything that you've created, how can you save them the time? That's coaching. Coddling is when someone says, I'm stuck. I don't understand how to do this. I can't do this. I'm frustrated. I've never been good at this. Someone said I've always been bad at, or I've always been bad at, or I can't. And you just accept it. And then you start filling in all the blanks. You start picking up the load for them. You carry them on your back to try to get them to their finish line. Not your finish line, their finish line. Coddling happens when they say, I don't get it. This is too hard for me. And you accept that as an answer. When your child says, I can't, you can say, is it that you don't know how to or you don't want to? You can find out right away if they don't want to know how to do something, they're just being indignant, they just are playing a game, they want you to be part of their story, or they just sincerely don't know how to and they want to learn how. When it comes to your clients, I've had clients where I've babied them so much, where I was like, here, let me do that for you. It'd just be faster if I just show you how to do this. I'm available right now. And then I hear nothing. They ask me like, oh my gosh, this is an emergency. I'm available now to help you. We can get on a Zoom or a Skype call and I can help you. And it's crickets. And then later on, they're in another emergency and I'm supposed to jump to it. So today I just solved this I said, here's the answer to your question. I did a little video screen capture and then I said, step 1, do this, step 2, do that, step 3, do that. I wrote it out too. About an hour and a half later, the individual says, okay, I'm ready now. Do you have time for a Zoom call now? I responded with no. I didn't need to give them a story. I didn't say, no, I'm actually with my kids now, or no, I'm doing a recording for a training. I didn't need to tell them anything else. I made myself available to them in their emergency, and they were not available for their own emergency. So when they asked me an hour and a half later, no, I'm not available for your emergency. You see, when we make someone else's lack of preparation our emergency, we have to break our schedule. We have to change our plans because of someone else's unpreparedness. Sometimes really it's just their drama. They would love the attention of, hey, everybody drops everything for me, so I'll come and do this thing for them right now. Some of my best coaches, when I've asked them to answer a question, they knew that it wasn't an emergency and they didn't answer me right away. And in that time, I came up with the answer. Half the time, or even more than half the time, when someone asks me a question because they're stuck, it's a simple search on Google or YouTube to get the answer. So don't be a high-paid coach. I mean, high-paid, let's just say $100 or more an hour or $1,000 a month. If someone's paying you that kind of money, and unless it's specific technical training, they can do a search on Google. They can do a search on YouTube. All right. I don't know how to hire somebody, look on YouTube. I don't know where to hire somebody. Go to Fiverr, start there. Read an article on how to hire someone on Fiverr. Literally, if you become their go-to person for everything, then you need to charge that way. When I say you need to charge that way, I'm saying go from $150 an hour or $2,000 a month to $10 an hour, because that's the role you're playing. You're playing their lackey. If someone were to hire me specifically for learning how to technically do something, I'm there to help them. Matter of fact, I have a podcasting class where I help people every step of the way that they ask for. But if someone's hiring me to coach them in the strategy for their business, I'll say, you may want to look into this type of software, or I recommend this software or this microphone, or I recommend hiring this person. If you say, well, I read this article, they said something, you know what? You hired me. I gave you my answer. If you want me to go shopping for you, then that's going to be another fee. But in the past, I had 8 one-to-one clients, and I seriously felt like I was running 8 businesses. And I was setting up their webinars for them. I was setting up their email autoresponders. I was writing their autoresponders, and they were paying me nothing near that. But I felt so little of myself, so little value of myself, that I was like, well, they're paying me money. I should help them to make sure that they're successful, because their success is my responsibility because they paid me. If you are a health trainer and the person is not getting up off the couch, or they're eating all kinds of junk food and they're still looking to you to save them, you've got the wrong client. You need to have people and attract people who are willing to do the work. I have another client I'm going to tell you about right now. She is phenomenal. When I get on the phone with her, I ask her a question once a week. I ask her a question, and she will talk for about 15 minutes. And she clues me into everything that's going on in her business and how it relates to her life and her marketing and what she's stuck on, what she worked through, what things she's going to let go of. She's literally done the work. She's doing the work. And when I say at the end of our time together, I'll say, here's what I recommend. She takes the notes. Next time we meet, she's done it. She's implemented it. That's the kind of people you want to work with. When you say, I've set up your workout for you, and I want you to do so many squats, so many push-ups, watch your calories, don't eat these types of food. You're looking for people to actually just follow what you told them to do. If they're saying, well, what type of cereal should I buy? Or what brand? Go on a stinking blog. I don't help anybody with their health. But it's funny that people forget that Google exists once they hire an expert on something. So if you are truly an expert on something, you need to set the boundary. You need to hold the line. You need to say, well, John, I think that's something you can look up on a quick Google search, or why don't you search YouTube for that? There's actually even a website called letmegooglethatforyou.com, or just the acronym for that. When you type that, letmegooglethatforyou.com, you'll get something that looks like a Google search page. And you type in the thing that they just asked you, literally the question word for word that they asked you, and you hit enter, it's going to give you a link. And when you copy that link, the funny thing is you copy that link and you send your client that link. When they click on it, it's going to bring them to a Google-like page, and then it's going to show an animation of you typing out that question, hitting enter, and then all the answers right there. I used that once and made my client laugh, because literally they are capable to do a Google search. They're more than capable to do a search on YouTube. But if they're hiring you for your technical expertise or to do something for them, this doesn't apply to you. If someone hires you to do something for them, this is not your way to bow out. This means that you need to actually do the work because they hired you to do the work. If it's a done for you and you're helping them with a technical aspect, help them with the technical aspect because that's what they bought. If they are asking you for your strategy on their diet or on their marriage or on their business or on their marketing, and they're paying for a strategy, they have that time with you. If it's an hour a week or become part of your mastermind or what have you, serve them there. But to do all their Google searching for them, that's not your position. Maintain the boundary by setting a healthy boundary, saying, John, I understand what you're asking. That's a simple Google search. Once you search on Google, look through the articles, and if you have more questions about it, then ask me depending on what you find. But when they haven't even looked and they reach out to you, that's not cool. Don't go for that anymore. Set the boundary saying, you know what, John, I used to do that. I don't do that any longer. And you can tell them why. You just say, my schedules is getting full. I used to help people with this. That's not really part of what you paid for in my mentoring program with you or the coaching program or this training. You just hold the line. They're looking for you to hold the line. If you're a teacher in a school and you're not holding the line, you go all over the place. You help them with every little thing. You've just set the line as you're going to help them with every little thing. If you are a parent and you don't set the line for your kids, you say, I'm going to count to 3, 1, 2. Oh, my kids never listen to me. That's not on your kids. That's on you. I'm saying this because I have 2 kids. I've gone through all that already. And I've had hundreds of clients. So when I'm telling you this, you need to hold the line, and you don't need to be their lackey going around doing Google searches for them or helping them through a software unless that's what they paid you for. Their success is not dependent 100% on you. Think of this if you were a physical trainer. You give them the workout routine. You give them the diet. They don't show up. They stay out late. They go drinking. They binge. And then they come to you and say, oh, this is so hard. Fire them. They say, you know what? I don't think we're a fit. This isn't working for me anymore. I'm going to refund you for the last 2 weeks or whatever it is, and we're going to part ways. Thanks so much. I wish you all the best. But why don't we quit? Why don't we stop serving someone when they stop showing up? It's because we got ourselves into a desperation mode of needing that money. Sometimes we've already spent that money, so we need to keep them as a client, even though we don't enjoy serving them anymore, even though they stopped showing up a long time ago. I had a client that didn't show up, literally like we had an appointment and they didn't show up. I was like, oh, that's okay. I understand you've got kids. Oh, I understand you're traveling. You know what? I don't play that way. If I'm traveling, I show up. If I'm with my kids, I show up because I schedule my life around what I have in my calendar. Unless it's an emergency, someone's in the hospital, I'll send a note saying, hey, I'm on my way to the hospital. Or have someone send it for me. But just to not show up, that's not cool. Stop being used by your clients and your customers. The customer is not always right. You know that. That's why they hired you. If the customer was always right, they wouldn't need you. So make sure you hold the line. That's your responsibility. Anybody who's crossed that line now, have a come to Jesus moment. Have a time where he's like, you know what, John? I used to, every time you message me, I'd be there 24/7, even if I was with my family or if I was with my kids out on an outing, if I was on vacation. I'm changing this boundary. If it doesn't work for you, please let me know. But I think you'll understand that I have to have a boundary when I'm with my family. They need my attention 100% when I'm with them. So I'm going to be turning off my phone when I'm with my family. I'm going to be here for you. Well, I have business hours just like any other business. I'm going to be here from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday Eastern time. Well, how can they complain with that? Did they pay for 24/7, 7 days a week coverage with you? Did you promise them that? Why are you giving them that? You just set the line for them. You just set the tone for how it is to work with you. That's not on them. That's on you. My assignment for you is to set the boundary. If you think that preeminence means you have to be at the beck and call of your clients, you're wrong. Unless someone has paid you for 24/7 access to you and paying you at least $100,000, if not more, to have that kind of access, which should never be necessary. Don't let other people's lack of preparation become your emergency. Set the boundary, hold the line. That's your responsibility. Don't let people walk all over you. Don't become their Google searcher, and don't become their technical person unless you're a technician that they hired for that kind of work. Be preeminent by holding the line of preeminence, always demanding the most out of your clients, because then they will either raise to that level to push themselves, or they will drop by the wayside and you'll say, you know what, I don't think this is a fit anymore. Be willing to part with your clients. On your road to preeminence, be sure that you hold the line, you set the standard, and you don't let your clients walk all over you. So whether you're a coach, a mentor, a trainer, or a parent, make sure that you hold the line, you set the line so they understand what's expected of them, and that you don't let people walk all over you. It is not your responsibility to make them successful. They have to do their part fully, you do your part fully, and everybody's happy. Thank you for listening to the Preeminence Podcast. Subscribe to hear powerful interviews and insights each week, automatically downloaded the moment they go live. Share this episode with your team, your friends, and post it on social media. Let us know your comments and suggestions for the show at m@ascend.net. That's the letter M @ASYND.net.